Hi guys, so today for this video we are going to talk about the Cherokee Nation v. Georgia case. This video is brought to you by Dr. Ferens, IB History 6th period, Chung, Benjamin, Julie, Petronilo, and Jonathan. This case was one of the many cases that were appointed to John Marshall, who were the Supreme Court Justice during this time. The case was filed by the Cherokee Nation, one of America's most well-known Native American tribes. They see themselves as an independent sovereign nation. The problem occurred due to the fact that Georgia has a huge population of Cherokee, and the state of Georgia didn't like how the Cherokee Nation lands is within its border.
More pressure applied in 1828 when prospectors and explorers found gold in the Cherokee territory. Since 1802, Georgia had passed a very hateful law towards the Cherokee that prevented them from receiving basic human rights, one of which were the Georgia Compact that regarding future Indian land cessions. As a result of this, the Cherokee were angry, and so they seek a federal injunction against laws that were passed by the state of Georgia.
In June 1830, a delegation of Cherokee led by Chief John Ross and William Wirt, the two were selected to defend Cherokee's rights before the U.S. Supreme Court. However, according to Article 3 in the Constitution, the court can only listen to suit made by a foreign state or American citizen. Chief Justice John Marshall wrote that the relationship of the tribes to the United States resembles that of a ward to its guardian. Justice William Johnson also added that the rules of nations will regard Indian tribes as nothing more than wandering hordes, held together only by ties of blood and habit, and having neither rules nor government beyond what is required to be a state. The court did hear the case but declined to rule on the merits. The court determined that the framers of the Constitution did not really consider the Indian tribes as a foreign nation, but more as a domestic dependent nation.
Georgia ends up disobeying the court's ruling and kicks the Native Americans out either way. The case shows how the court ruled in favor of land-hungry whites, and in doing so, helped to legitimize the process of silencing and marginalizing Native Americans. 1 year later, however, in Worcester v. Georgia, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the Cherokee Nation was sovereign. This meant that Georgia had no rights to enforce state laws in its territory. In addition, it made the Indian Removal Act invalid, illegal, unconstitutional, and against treaties previously made by the United States. President Andrew Jackson refused to uphold the ruling of this case and directed the expulsion of the Cherokee Nation.
This was later known as the Cherokee. The Cherokee was forced to move out of their territory in Georgia and into their destination in present-day Oklahoma. There was many things that make the case of Cherokee Nation v. Georgia significant to American history. It showed the relationship between the government and Native American and how they viewed each other during the early 1800s with the Trail of Tears. It also showed the power of the government over the Native American, the interpretation of the Constitution in court, and the problem with land dispute. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and we hope that you learned something new from this video.